Well, hello everyone. Hello, I'm Andy Kressinger. This is Jack Dalton. Welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus, your number one sports show on the Southeast Iowa Union Video Network, not counting live streams, I guess, because I couldn't really hold that trophy without running the numbers. Uh, Jack, how you doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad. Ready to talk some ball to start out this show.
I'm ready to talk some ball as well. Jack, do you know how cold it's going to be on Friday night?
Uh let's see. I
I
probably
was
shouldn't
informed of
cheat,
this
but
last night in Fairfield.
it appears the in Washington, the high is 4 and the low is -10. I
Yes.
think they should play a
So
special football game that day.
they should. Oh my gosh, Jack. Iowa Wesleyan played college football up until, the NAIA schedule ends like when the regular season ends for maybe a week before. And so there's a chance of snow football. We had so many ice cold days and it never friggin' snowed for one of those games. And I was always so mad. The Iowa Wesleyan football team would not have been mad because the air raid does not do well in the snow, but allegedly. It was they did play, and I think they played because their conference had a lot of Minnesota and like Montana teams, but could never cover when I was so upset. Maybe a high school game. We're powered as usual by Fairway Food Stores, so if you were worried about that, everybody,
You're not. Mecca of
you're
meats.
not anymore. It's the Mecca of meats. It is the Guggenheim of groceries. It is uh, the Sultan of steaks.
Sultan. I like it.
Yeah, best there is. We're gonna talk a little hoop. We're gonna talk a little big school hoops first. Ooh, who should we start with, Jack? I guess we can start with how many Washington got a couple wins, right?
The Demons got a couple wins, yes. The
You know
boys
what? Let's
team,
start.
they split.
Let's go.
Boys
Let's start with the old Demons because the games I covered live were losses. We do have a big upset win to talk about here in a second, but let's start with the old Washington Demons.
Yes, the Washington Demons. I'll start on the boys' side. First of all, since our last show, they were at home to Burlington, lost that game 66-56, and then dropped another SEC game 70-50 on the road at Keokuk. So they are now 3-3 in the SEC. That is, it's going to be a tough mountain to climb now with Burlington at 5-1 and Keokuk at 6-0. Burlington game turned the ball over a lot, kind of uncharacteristically. Was a little bit surprising to see that. And then Keokuk, Jackson Clark was Jackson Clark. I did talk to Colin Stark about that. He said they felt they played a lot better than the first Keokuk game. And I think we're leading early in the second half, and then Keokuk, whether or not they make threes, they can score points because if they miss threes, he just gobbles up offensive rebounds and scores. So that game went how it did. They did turn it around. Got a win at Tipton on Monday night, 66-43. Tipton, not a very good program on the boys basketball front. But unfortunately, the win came at a cost, Andy, because Drew Conrad got hurt his ankle in that game, which meant he was out on Tuesday night against Carlisle for a one-off game. They did not have Drew Conrad for that one, lost 60-46. And frankly, I think if they would have had Drew Conrad, they would have won that game pretty comfortably.
That's
Carlisle
a
does,
monster loss.
yeah,
Their whole thing is having the all the guard play. You take the most experience of the three off.
yep, it was tough. Nick Stone did go off. He had 27 points in the
Wow.
loss, but he did score 20 of those in the first half. Carlisle really adjusted to him. Rajon Roth could not get going in the same way he usually does. He only had 8. And then Carlisle, like Keokuk, does have a guy in the top 5 in scoring in 3A. His name is Trey Osterhaus. He had 24 points, which is actually only one over his season average. He averages around 23 a game. But then they had 2 other guys with in the teens for scoring. So they kind of got the depth of scoring that normally Washington gets and that they would have got from Drew Conrad if he was healthy. So that was a tough loss. They're going to have to rebound against Fairfield on Friday. Of course, the team they beat on the road 57-39 in that one. And then on the girls' side, their one-off game actually came all the way back on Saturday night. They played Oskaloosa. We're going to have more on Oskaloosa later.
Mm.
But before that, Fairfield or Washington rather, they lost actually in really shocking fashion, 62-32 to Keokuk. That was a really disappointing loss for them. And they took it personally against Oskaloosa. They won that game by 22, 43 to 21 over Oski. And that was the first thing we talked to Reagan Miller after that game. She actually led the Demons with 14 points in that game, came off the bench to lead them in scoring. And we talked to her, and the first thing she said was, that left the Keokuk game left a really bitter taste in our mouths. We really didn't like how we played in that. That leaves them at 3-3 in the SEC as well, because they too lost to Burlington on Friday, 55-47, in kind of a tough one. Um, so they get the rebound win against Oskaloosa. Then they played a ranked Tipton team. Tipton was 11-1. They were number 11 in 3A. Washington, really close. They fell 48. There's never going to be such thing as a good loss in anyone's eyes, but they lost 48-40. It was a really good game. It was a 2-point game. They took a 2-point lead in the fourth quarter of this one, ended up getting outscored 18-7 in the final 4 minutes of the game. Tipton was up by 4. Washington got called for an intentional foul, which I have just now concluded is or learned is 2 free throws in the ball. So it's kind of hard to get away when you have to foul on purpose, because Tipton,
Mhm.
they split the free throws on the intentional foul, but then they get the ball back, get fouled again. They made 2 more, went up by 7, and the game was over. So
They call it intentional foul and like an obvious, like you have to foul to get them on free throws situation.
that's what I mean, it was. They were down 4 and
That's
kind of had to foul. And
you can't call it an
um,
intentional foul in that situation.
yeah, Adeline Long
Best
kind
to
of
get those refs.
gave someone a
Get just
shove,
was he
and
rough? Got a
yeah,
little rough.
it was a pretty aggressive foul, so I think it was deemed enough to be like maybe excessive enough that they gave Tipton that call.
Yeah,
But yeah,
got
so
it.
that's a tough loss. So then they did not play. It was just a boys game against Carlisle, so they will also be up against Fairfield trying to rebound. Similar outlook in the girls' situation right now. Keokuk and Burlington are both 5-1. Fort Madison's actually 4-2 now, and Washington is 3-3, so they're in fourth place. So there are your Demons, Andy. Maybe should we talk about the biggest upset now in the SEC? You want to walk us through that?
I think so. First off, I'll take you through what happened at Mount Pleasant Community High School on Friday. I'm actually going to start with the girls because you just mentioned the Burlington girls,
Yep.
and Panther girls did it again, where into the third quarter they had you thinking like, oh, this could be the night. They played Burlington to a there was a 9-point game to start the third quarter. And just like when they played at Burlington, you start to think like, "Oh my gosh, it's going to be like right down to the wire." And then Burlington just turned it on and ended up beating them by 56-39, so a 17-point win for the Greyhounds. But Peyton Insminger, 15 points and that one. She was awesome down low. And Burlington scored all 56 of their points, Jack. Three players. Three players scored all
Jeez.
of their points, and none of them scored over 20 points.
Is that
It was
is
a
that no, that's not Boatman. She plays for
19 points.
Keokuk.
No, it was Stiefel and
Stiefel and
Brown,
Brown, that's
and
right.
then I forget the name of the third girl. She's a great shooter, and she lit them up. So they ended up with like 19, 18, and 18. But it was like, it was one of those things where you saw a lot of positives. You thought, man, maybe if Mount Pleasant, had played this well in a couple of their previous games against teams that didn't have girls that can, Stiefel's like she does like I hate to say it, but she does like Caitlin Clark stuff where they're like, all
Yeah.
right, we're in trouble. Here we go, double crossover, three in your face, bang. And in high school basketball, that is a tough one to come back. And I think she only hit one three against them, but yeah. So Burlington won that, and then Mount Pleasant did fall in Danville. I think they were a similar situation as a single digit game up to the fourth. Danville ran away with it in Danville. But now we'll move on to the Mount Pleasant boys, which all spoiler alert on the upset. Last night, the Mount Pleasant boys went into Oskaloosa and upset. Do you have the final score on that Oskaloosa game?
I do.
Upset the 10th ranked Oskaloosa Indians. What was the score there?
48-45, hung on for a 3-point win.
48-45. Now, I saw little tease of Mount Pleasant's kind of, you know, when they played Fairfield, and I think Fairfield fans would attest to this. That was they were actually, Mount Pleasant looked like kind of a wagon of a team. They everyone was healthy again. They're scoring inside very well. You know, the outside shots were falling. Then on Burlington, they get out to a really strong lead. I think they were up 5 or 6 early. Again, scoring at, well, I mean, in the way where they would dump it down low, miss a shot inside, and it's like, well, there's three Panthers there before anybody else, and so they're scoring inside at will, and then all of a sudden it just kind of turned off. Kind of felt like, you know, they were in the driver's seat, and you know, if Burlington made a couple of shots at the end of the first quarter, they cut it to 2 when it could have been like a 5 or 6 point game. I think Mount Pleasant just never kind of got that fire back. Ended up losing that one 67-51. Actually, lost that one about as bad as they did in Burlington when they didn't have a couple of their starters. But then finally last night, Panthers going to Oski. Isaiah Lang had 19 points on that one, which is a lot if you look at that final score. They're both in the 40s. So finally, the Panthers are able to get their big, you know, win against a team that's a winning team. That's a top team, because they had kind of they'd shown their best stuff against Newland and Fairfield, two of our teams that had struggled to win, you know, and Mount Pleasant would, you know, flew away from them. And then and I really thought going into Friday night, I think I told a friend there, I was like, I think this is going to be a really close game. I think that the Panthers have enough advantages now um, to try and take it to Burlington. But man, Burlington is quick. I mean, Burlington almost beat Keokuk in boys basketball, by the way. They're up
Hmm.
like 10 in the fourth quarter. So in both the boys and the girls now, Burlington and Keokuk looks like when they match up again, that's going to be the big night on the
Yeah,
schedule.
and on the boys' side, you know, this is a nice win for us for Mount Pleasant, but heck, man, it does not get any easier for them. They got to play Mid Prairie still, Mediapolis still, who's a decent team in boys. They push Washington
Mhm.
really close. Marion has a winning record. They still have to play at Keokuk, and then they end at Pella, who's another ranked team
Yep.
in boys basketball. So
Yeah.
they're
No,
gonna have to stack some
no
wins while
easy
they
game.
can.
They are, and I mean the other games that they're the like basically the only games that you didn't mention were rivalry games against Washington and Fairfield. So
Yeah,
they have a heck of a schedule. You know, uh, something about this area in boys. Fairfield was this team last year where Fairfield didn't get a lot of wins, but then I kept just saying like, man, they're way better than this. And Fairfield almost shocked Mount Vernon last year in the tournament. I think just lost at the last second. I was up there. I don't remember the final score, but it was one of those things. I was like, oh my gosh, you know. And we've had a few
66-57 was the final.
in that game at Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like a 2 versus 7 or something like that. They did it. They almost. I think they were leading like Assumption at halftime a couple years earlier when there was a 1 versus 8. So our boys basketball teams in the SEC do tend to maybe look better towards the end of the year. And I was actually in Fairfield last night. I talked to Coach Perkins about that. First off, Fairfield lost a couple of bad ones the last a couple of nights, allegedly, and I say allegedly, but I think I saw evidence of it. The flu has flown its way into Fairfield. You actually were there on Friday, right?
I,
For the
I
Fort
was
Madison
I
game.
I was at Fairfield all week last week. Yeah, Fort
Oh yeah,
Madison.
you were.
It was just tough. I mean, Fairfield on the boys' side, you know, kind of hung with them a little bit early, and then their height really got to them late. They had no answer for Nolan Guzman either, and I know that was
Yeah,
frustrating for Fairfield because that was Fort Madison's first one of the season. But yeah, it was just
but
Guzman's night. I mean, he scored 33 points on 14 shots. He was just extremely efficient. And yeah, Fairfield just couldn't. They were a little bit more balanced in scoring, but just had no one to kind of match that. And they got a little bit of a boost from Darius Foy as well, the 6'10
yeah,
center who had 10 and 10. So
and neither of
yeah,
those kids played against Fairfield the first time, I believe.
no.
Foy definitely didn't play until like a few games ago. So
Yeah, Foy did not. And yeah, they had lost to Pekin earlier in that week and Van Buren County by 1 on Monday. And so it was a little bit of it's been a little bit of a struggle fest for them the last couple of games on the boys and girls side.
Yeah, I'll stick with the Fairfield boys because they played Pella Christian. Now Pella Christian just beat Knoxville. They play pretty much only high quality teams over there in their area. They got some height. They got 2-6-7 kids, and Fairfield sick without Eli Zillman, the one kid that can match up with big kids inside as far as jumping anyway. And that messed with their rotation a lot, and they ended up losing that one 80-37. Just a really tough one. I mean, Pella Christian was absolutely firing on all cylinders. Even Bisgars did have 13 points in that, and those are 13 impressive points because he was within the towers. They had one of the 6-7 kids was guarding Bisgard. Not the easiest thing in the world. And then the night before, I was at the Fairfield girls, and that game, the Fairfield girls game, they lost 62-44. Jack, they were down, I think, 15-1 in the first quarter, ended up losing the first quarter 17-4. And they got it all the way back to single digits and saw it slip away. So that was just a bad start. And you saw them against Fort Masson, who's a very frustrating team to play in girls basketball. Oh, you might. Oh, hey, I think you're muted.
Whoops. That one guy
I just
forgot I
assumed
took a
it was
drink of
my
water.
problem.
Nope, that was me. That was me. Sorry, folks. That one got away from Fairfield early. Fort Madison kind of ran away with it in the first quarter, and it just, yeah, you're right. Like it was definitely a frustrating team to play in Fort Madison. Their press was just kind of all over them. It was it was it was a tough sight. Yeah, 17-7 in the first quarter, and then they were up 32-15 by halftime. And yeah, just forced a bunch of turnovers. They went on a 14-0 run at one point in the second half. So definitely one that Fairfield will try and learn from. And yeah, they head into a big one that they really need to get back on track against Washington.
Yeah. So Fairfield goes to Washington on Friday night. Mount Pleasant is in Fort Madison, I do believe.
They are.
Uh, and so we'll see how that works out in the SEC. When we get back, we're going to talk a little SEISC and SCC and RIVER space VALLEY and SICL. A little
Letters.
small school basketball. We're going to talk letters. The letter, you're going to find out that the letter of the day is fans. So stick with us.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouthwatering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
At WCHC, our goal is to take great care of our patients and our staff.
We are able to approach you, take care of your issues, but also give you a path, as far as referrals or treating you right then and there.
Our role in the community is taking care of something that matters to everyone. It's their family and their health.
More than you expect for your health care.
The letter of the day. The letter of the day. You know that song? It's the letter. Letter of the day. It's B for the B block. That's the new letter. It's not new. I mean, it's Sesame Street, but it's new as in 20 years ago.
Or is it or the letters SEISC?
Or SCC. Or I have a good letter for you.
RV.
How about the letter F for fairway?
Aha.
Ooh.
the heaven of hoagies.
Ooh, the heaven of hoagies. That's high intensity. The friggin'
Well, it's heaven.
Mercedes of meatloaf. Yeah, it's heaven. The heaven. No, whatever the hoagie version of heaven. So like you take
Yeah,
another hoagie, which is like, I don't know, something else that's good.
the
And it's like
Antarctica
that
of
they're
artichokes.
so much better at hoagies that it's literally the same
Yeah,
parable for not parable, but anyway.
the Pangea of pies.
Ooh, Pangea. Except this Pangea doesn't break when you put it in your mouth. Actually, it does, I guess.
It does. It
Anyway,
melts and
it would
savory.
be bad if it didn't break. I had I used to, I don't know. Anyway, I have no more words, but that's all right because
I
Jack
have
has plenty of
scores.
words. He's got scores from the small school basketball. How's it going?
Yes, indeed. Do you want to start with the girls' side or the boys' side?
Ooh, how about I'll flip a coin.
And by the way, these will just be the scores from Monday and Tuesday
Ladies.
nights. If you want the scores
Ladies
from the
first.
weekend, go read the Southeast Iowa Union My Story, where I have all of those scores in the Pekin Fairfield recap. Boom.
Yeah,
Okay, girls'
turned into a
scores
teacher, like right there.
first. We will start on Monday in the SEISC North, where there was only one North team successful. That team was the Waco Warriors. They got a 62 to 35 win over Iowa Valley. Van Buren County did get a win, so they are one of our schools, and they're in the SEISC South, of course. They did beat Columbus 47 to 41. Pekin lost to EBF 46-35, and Highland, a rare defeat, losing to English Valley, a good girls team over there in the Sickle. But a little bit of a surprising loss nonetheless for the Huskies. They fall 44-37. I read Jody Fink's thoughts on that one. He was not too pleased. Danville also beat Mount Pleasant. I don't know if we mentioned that in the A block. That's an SAISC South result. In the South Central, it was Cardinal getting a result 52-35 over Colfax Mingo. And in the Sickle, I don't believe Kyoto played on Monday. They did, however, play on. No, they didn't. They did not play on Tuesday. I lied. So Kyoto, a couple of days off. In the Sickle, Cardinal had a back-to-back. They lost to EBF 59-39 on Tuesday. In the SCISC South, Van Buren County won its second of a back-to-back, beating Holy Trinity Catholic 45-33. In the North, Pekin did make up for the loss on Monday, beat Louisa Muscatine 54-49. Waco lost their game on Tuesday, so they split Monday and Tuesday. They were defeated by Lone Tree. Hillcrest Academy fell by 2 points to Wapello. Tough one for the Ravens. And Highland took their frustration out for a loss to English Valleys in the form of a 56-26 beatdown of Winfield Mount Union. And then in the River Valley, Mid Prairie did not play on Monday, did play on Tuesday. They took down West Branch 65-24. Andy, quick thoughts on the girls' situations for the small schools, and then I'll read the boys' scores.
I have a thought is that the Sickle girls, not the Sickle girls, the Class 1A girls region, which is going to have a lot of Sickle and Super Conference teams in it, that is going to have some classic games. It is going to be a rumble between some of those top, English Valley, Kyoto, Highland, especially up there at the top one getting tournament time.
Yeah, it is. It is going to be.
I thought you were stunned by that revelation.
I mean, no, it's. I'm not stunned, but more just impressed by how dominant that conference is. They have a lot of really, really strong teams. So, yeah, Mid Prairie is still getting it done. It's crazy. Mid Prairie has 5 losses. They are all 2 ranked teams. So, and then yeah, Highland. We'll see how they can kind of round into form. I mean, the expectations I think are still very high for them, but they're kind of running away there with the SEISC North. On the boys' side, we'll start in the North, go back to January 19th. This is where Kyoto played. On the boys' side, they played Highland, crushed them 79-48. Kyoto boys have been one of the more impressive teams for me in the area. So they get an all-union win there. Van Buren County beating Columbus 58-48. Pekin defeated EBF 60-41. Pekin free scoring when they're at their best. In the SCC, in the boys game between Cardinal and Colfax Mingo. Guess what, Andy? It happens every week. I have no score in front of me, so I'm gonna have to find that one. So no score for Cardinal and Colfax Mingo. Like I said, Keota defeating Highland, so they get a win there. In the Sickle, and then on Tuesday, guess what, Andy? 2 for 2 on Cardinal, no scores. Nothing between them and EBF reported. We're gonna have to find that one as well.
I'll do some searching on that one.
Holy Trinity Catholic beats Van Buren County 72-43. Holy Trinity Catholic's got a good team there on the boys' side. In the SEISC North, Winfield Mountain Union, no problem against Highland, 59-24. Hillcrest continues their dominance in first place, 68-38. Waco blows out Lone Tree, 74-47, and Pekin beats Louisa Muscatine, 72-41. So a rare near sweep of results of our SEISC teams against teams we don't cover. You had 3 wins for Pekin, Waco, and Hillcrest, and then the all-union matchup between Highland and Winfield. Winfield manages to get, and then Mid Prairie, they matched up against West Branch, lost. A good West Branch Bears team. I watched them in their game against Mount Pleasant, but I'm a little surprised at the margin of defeat here for Mid Prairie, 76-44. West Branch absolutely crushing the Golden Hawks. So a little bit of a rough patch hit for Mid Prairie. They're going to try and get back on track. Hillcrest is absolutely rolling. They did lose to Keota, which was an impressive win for Keota, but yeah, Hillcrest is cruising in the north there, Andy.
Got you a final from the Cardinal Eddyville game, and it was a roller coaster. Cardinal led in both the first and second quarters, were up 6 at halftime, had a horrible third quarter. EBF went from down 6 to up 10, 39-29. Flash forward to the final minute. Cardinal was down 2, had to foul EBF. EBF makes both, then steal, a steal and a layup to end up winning the game by 6. EBF 51, Cardinal 45. So close on that first SCC win. I was also going to mention that speaking of the Super North, Hillcrest over Winfield on Friday night. Hillcrest now has a master lock on the Super North right now. Yeah, not quite as competitive as we thought because they haven't lost yet. So can't really call it competitive when you got Ravens flying all over and doing, doing Raven things. Quote the Raven, nevermore.
Nevermore.
Shout out to Ravens flock from the 1990s. We got anything else for hoops?
No, that's all we got.
Well, when we come back, I am going to bring you some not really breaking, but some interesting wrestling news. One of the closest races in the history of the SEC Boys Wrestling League. So do not go away.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Bring the kids and share the memories at the 2026 Midwest Old Threshers Reunion. Experience the sights, sounds, and traditions of steam engines, antique cars and trucks, tractors, and more. First visit or a family tradition. Enjoy home-style food, the excitement of an Old West shootout, and nightly entertainment. For generations, this is where memories are made. Celebrate history and make new memories at the Midwest Old Threshers Reunion, September 3rd through 7th in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Visit oldthreshers.com for more details.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Welcome back, Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus, powered by Fairway Food Stores. Jack, I am sitting in a different position now because I was sitting crisscross applesauce, as Peter said, and my legs went completely numb. So that's why it looks like I'm leaning over. There we go. So sorry if I look like earlier I was at an angle. Yeah, I feel like Buffalo Bill from that movie where he's leaning down the hole. Probably not a good person to compare yourself to. But how about a little wrestling, Peter? Jack.
Let's do it.
Little wrestling, Jack. Jack, you ever wrestle as a little kid? I know Peter is a wrestler.
No,
You ever even do
no.
kid wrestling? I never did either.
I would have been, as I still probably would be, snapped in half doing any contact sports. I was steered off of football in 5th grade, so.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, never played competitive football ever.
So you didn't have a lot of stuff where you could break bones, basically.
Yeah, and that said, I still have broken several bones, so it didn't work.
Have you? I broke. I have too. I broke my first major bone break was a football injury, and it was in what are called the chutes. I don't know if they do those anymore. A big metal contraption where you run through with the ball, and on the other side you get tackled or tackle, and broke my arm. It was in a cast for like half of my school year, and I broke my middle finger diving into second base on somebody's cleat, and that really hurt. Yet broken ribs, which don't really hurt when you actually break them, are the worst thing to have because they haunt you when you're older. And that transitions me into one of the more painful sports there is, wrestling. And in Mount Pleasant Community High School on Thursday night, a monster SEC duel between the Demons and the Panthers. Washington needed this one to stay in the SEC race, and the Demons pull it out 47-24 over not only previously unbeaten in the SEC Mount Pleasant, but the defending conference champions. 47-24. This thing was close up until about the midway mark. Washington won the last 4 matches. Mark Chindle with a pin in that one. Braden Vermillion with a 28-second pin in that one. And then one forfeit. And maybe the match of the year, Rudy Wolf and Juan Lopez at 285 went the distance plus. They went into tiebreaker. And there was not a lot left. They had to reach into the depths of their souls to have enough left in that. And Rudy Wolf ended up winning that one 7-6 on an escape. And some other pins for the Demons and the Panthers. For the Panthers at 120, Levi Evans got a pin. Lane Beckler got a pin at 126. Mount Pleasant was actually up 12-3 after 3 matches. Clayton Bartholomew for Washington got a pin. Caden Griner for Washington got a pin. Ramsey Davis for Mount Pleasant got a pin. Keegan Birdsell for Mount Pleasant got a pin. A lot of pins, actually. And then the ones I talked about. Also 36-24 on the girls' side. We say this like every week, but on these girls duels, there's usually like 3 matches. So 2 wins for Mount Pleasant. Paris Hosey and Quintery Lee both got pins. And then Raya Wellington for Washington got pins. Those are the only 3 matches that actually took place. But then also down south in Fort Madison, the Bloodhound boys knocked off the Trojans. The Fairfield Trojans, were also undefeated going into this meet. In the SEC, they were undefeated. 56-20, Fairfield fell in the boys. And then on the girls' side, Fort Madison went 56-18. Now, as I said, the girls' conference race isn't quite at the point where it's at the point. No matter what happens in some of these duels, the team that has the wrestlers is going to win because of all the forfeits. But on the boys' side, Jack, We have 4 teams at 2-1 in the SEC. Fort Madison, Fairfield, Washington, and Mount Pleasant, all 2-1, and Burlington is 1-1. And you say there's only 6 teams in the conference. How can those mathematically be correct? It's because Keokuk's already wrestled 4 times and they're 0-4. Believe me, I did the math myself thinking this cannot be right, but it is. So there's 4 teams tied at first, and there's 1 team a half game back. So it's, outside of the Chiefs down there at the bottom, it is anybody's conference championship. And guess what? At Fairfield High School, Mount Pleasant at Fairfield on Thursday. Washington wrestles
They got
on
Burlington
Thursday against Berlin. Is that in Washington?
in Washington. Yeah.
On the Southeast Iowa Video Network. So watch out. A lot of stuff going down. I assume that means Burlington and Keokuk will match up on Thursday. That Fort Madison and Keokuk will match up as well. So right now, I'll say that the advantage is to Fort Madison because they've actually wrestled the 3 Union teams, Fairfield, Mount Pleasant, Washington, and went 2-1 in those matches. I need to start messaging some athletic directors and be like, what's the tiebreaker results as far as regular season? I don't remember the last time that there was multiple teams in it like this. It usually is either one team is so much higher than everybody else, or there's 2 teams, and when they wrestle, that kind of decides it. So there's the conference championship, Southeast Iowa Classic in a couple weekends. Yeah, Mr. Jack, that's what's going down. You had some in other sporting news. You had an eye-popping moment when you saw the Washington Keokuk bowling results. I'm putting you on the spot here because I didn't have my bowling results up, but why don't you tell me about those, and then I'm going to look up the other 2 teams here.
Yeah, quick shout out to the Washington bowling team. They didn't win, but they came darn close in a Keokuk triangular there on Tuesday night. 19 pins or 10 pins short, excuse me. 29-19 for Keokuk, 29-09 for Washington. Fairfield actually took third in that one as well. So, yeah, good result for the Demon Boys team, closing the gap on Keokuk.
Closing that gap, and the conference tournament's coming up. We are getting, it really hits you after the holidays. You go through January, it's so busy that you blink, and then you're like, oh my gosh, we're almost into like major postseason territory where we're getting conference bowling, conference wrestling, state wrestling for girls. So sub-state's coming up very soon here. Then state wrestling for boys, and then as that all goes on, the basketball teams jump into jumped into tournament play. I just got stunned by the shout out to the 7th grade Burlington girls basketball team because I was looking at Mount Pleasant's for their bowling score the other day. Tough one for the MP 7th graders, 70-11 to the mighty Burlington. 7th grade girls basketball and 8th grade boys basketball just started, so get those stuffs in. And we're gonna look up a little bowling for the Panthers on Thursday night. The Panthers bowled against Burlington, lost by 50 exactly, 26-56 to 26-06 on the girls' side, or on the boys' side, sorry. And on the girls' side, by the way, shout out to the spirit of the Mount Pleasant girls bowling team. They won 22-01 to 18-56, one of our best scores of the year. They're 7-3 right now. You go to Mount Pleasant girls bowling, it is a loud and raucous environment. They are. It was high. There was not a lot of quiet in that Iris Bowling Center. So that stuff will be in the paper here on this Thursday. We'll have how the bowlers are doing, and then they got assignments out. We'll have those in. So if you're reading the newspaper and you're watching the show and you're watching Southeast Iowa Video Network games, you're basically a sports expert.
Locked in.
Thank you. Congratulations. By the way, you know who's not really a sports expert is the 3 of us who saw Indiana football all season and then didn't realize that I guess they're just that good. Didn't pick them.
Nope.
Didn't pick them. And they shoved it in our face. Shout out to the Indiana Hoosiers and all you Indiana fans. You'll notice that Indiana's winning championships right now, a few years after the Fever drafted Caitlin Clark. How many championships has the city of Chicago won since the Sky drafted Angel Reese? Everybody, that's your homework. Everybody, Google that. Got anything else, Jack?
No, that's it. Excited for Thursday. See how this wrestling shakes out. Divide the SEC a little bit.
Excited. That is the Pangea of wrestling right now. Is Pangea. We're gonna be separating the winners from the losers on Thursday. Exciting. Friday, hopefully we have basketball. Hopefully it's not literally so frozen in the world that you can't start your car. So everyone pray for my car. Good vibes. You know, a couple days ago, it did give it had a little. It's been good. Yeah, it's been doing well. But a couple days ago, I got a little cold, like a little too cold, and it gave me the like, hey now, Friday night's gonna be a test. Oh, thank you, Jack. Look at that. And namaste to all of our non prayers out there. I guess. What does namaste mean? I don't even know what that means. No clue. Hopefully, it's not code for like you know, the Illuminati, because I'm not part of that. Don't worry. That's all we got. See you next week, everybody.